of chocolate, so if I begin to speak very, very fast here in the show, just remember, I'm eating a lot of chocolate, Tanya. And we want to thank some folks.
Deanne Walsh for doing this. Ken's mother, Deanne Walsh. Ken is on our cruise. She sent us some cookies, as if we don't have enough sugar today, Deanne.
That was very nice.
Some cookies for us, too. Girl Scout cookies. They have some great ones this year.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to eating Girl Scout cookies either.
I'm not opposed to eating any cookie.
Yeah.
Usually.
So thank you very much. And you know what? We were talking about Swiss chocolate, Belgian chocolate. I just want to make a plug for Hershey's. I always eat Hershey's chocolate when I was a kid out of Pennsylvania. So there you go.
With us is Andrea Goeglein talking about serving success. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, that is the name. That is the name of my company, Serving Success. And what I do on my website is, as we do here, I review different books and we do different teleseminars and things of that nature. And this month's selection is a Phil McGraw, the Dr. Phil, of great renown. I chose his very first book that made him famous, and it was after an incident with Oprah, and that's how he came in.
He was a regular on her show.
Exactly,
for
and
many
years.
Yes, he became a regular on her show because he had helped her through the mad cow trials in Texas.
Oh yeah,
and he had been the psychologist hired to help. Many times when attorneys go to trial, they will have psychologists who help read the jurors and help the person who is on trial keep their composure to the point where someone will be able to relate to them better, that the jury relates to them. And that was his role, and that's how he met Oprah.
Very interesting.
And since we've been doing this series, you know, Tanya, I have been led by something that you said in one of the original clips, and that was that, you know, this stuff has been around forever. And so what I have been doing is choosing books that generally have been published 5 to 10 years ago. And to show that, in fact, the things that are in these books are really good wisdom, and the only thing that matters is you actually applying them. And the Life Strategies book that Phil McGraw wrote at the time, when I came across it because I had heard about the trials and how he had come into fame, and I really liked his segments when he was doing those small once-a-week segments. 5 days a week of therapy on TV is a bit much. I don't think anyone should be spending 5 days a week in therapy on TV or otherwise. And what happened was, I really became attracted to that book, and it was such a wonderful thing because he had 10 life laws and 10 little strategies. And I would play games with these 10 life laws and 10 life strategies, and we can do it right now. You know, I would say to someone, you know, just randomly close your eyes and put your finger anywhere on the page. And
for the strategies?
Right, for the strategies, frankly. Okay, who wants to go first? Tell me the one you got.
Well, ladies first.
Ladies first.
Number 5, life rewards action.
Okay.
Make careful decisions and then pull the trigger.
Super. Now, if you'll remember from the very first book we had, Canfield's, you know, success principles.
Yes, I remember
okay.
That one. Yes.
Taking action. So many people have their dreams, create visions, do all of the mechanics except take action. And what McGraw does in this book is take you through that whole process of, okay, so you think you're doing all of these things, but the only time you get a reward, good or bad, is if you take action. And if it's something that was not the way you wanted it to be, then that means that you adjust it. But what is important is that you continually take action.
You know, that's such a good point, because most times, even when you're sitting strategizing at a conference table or at a board table, you're throwing all these ideas, and until you implement them, that's all they are. They're ideas laying on the table.
Absolutely.
And
that's where. And what was yours?
Oh, mine is you cannot change what you do not acknowledge. And it says, get real with yourself about your life and everybody in it.
Yeah. You know, not being able to change, you know, I am not a fan, and positive psychology, to which I am grounded, is not a fan of you regurgitating your story too much, but unless you know and have written down the story that you generally tell, because whether we're aware of it or not, when we meet new people in particular, within a very short period of time, there are a list of stories that we will tell them about ourselves. And until we acknowledge what those stories are and craft them in a way that actually propels you forward and tells your story in a way that you have learned something and are moving forward, it may not be the most helpful. So being able to acknowledge what your story is, and then what the stories are of the people around you, that's a very, very important step.
Good point.
Because you were talking about talking, or whatever, telling the story over and over. You can't talk something to death.
Absolutely not. One of the things, and this was one of the reasons I was the most attracted to Phil McGraw, you know, he came onto the scene in the late 90s. I think it was maybe 98 or so, 97, and started being on Oprah's show. We had gone through 2 solid decades of talk therapy, where we as a nation became victims in our own minds. Instead of telling the story from the standpoint of resilience and how I became a champion because of adversities, we were going to hug our adversity to death, and it was, you know, people would identify themselves as, I've got this, I've got that. It would be the first thing out of their mouth, and it's like, okay.
The victim. You always wanted to be the victim.
And that was a mistake of talk therapy. One of the things that the more current research has shown is that telling your story is important, but then recrafting it is really what's important. Going through decades of telling the same story is not what is going to move you forward.
Excellent. Yep. Andrea's going to stay with us.
Yes, she is.
We're going to hear more and maybe even get to pick some more
That's exactly right.
of life's laws when we come back. Stay where you're at.
I have to tell you.